Joining us to talk more about this is Texas Congressman Jodey Arrington. Congressman Arrington is also a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, where the rubber meets the road, as they say, on Capitol Hill. Congressman, great to see you.
You too, John. Great to be with you.
Now, for a lot of people, the issue itself is not so much these kids, but the problem with DACA, that it is a executive order, not a law passed by Congress. In order for us to really change anything and fix our immigration system, it's you guys in Congress that actually have to make these laws. Tell us how you feel, and what do you think will be different this time with President Trump refiling to terminate DACA for a third time?
Well, I think it's a problem on a number of levels. The courts have stalled so long that this could bleed into another administration. Maybe there's a president that doesn't have the will to do the right thing and to push this decision to the legislature or Congress, as it is, to make this decision. I think Justice Thomas was right to criticize Justice Roberts and the court for their decision to say this was an issue. This was a decision made on the grounds of politics, and they didn't want to make decisions that were controversial instead of the fundamental question of constitutionality. Look, this was an easy one. President Obama acted unilaterally. He didn't have the DREAM Act because it failed in Congress, and he usurped the will of the people by putting forth not even an executive order, but a memo from the Secretary of Homeland Security. They didn't go through any of the procedural rigmarole that now the courts are challenging the Trump administration on, and they just forced this decision on the American people. They encouraged more illegal immigration in the process, and they've created chaos, more chaos at the border. I live in a border state. I can tell you that the surge of families and children have ensued as a result of these bad, unconstitutional, unilateral executive actions that were taken by the previous administration. So Trump's doing the right thing. The president's going to be relentless, as he's known for, on this issue in particular, border security and stopping illegal immigration. I'm behind him 100%.
You mentioned Chief Justice John Roberts. He seems to be more concerned with the editorial page of the New York Times these days than what is actually in these laws with some of these rulings, and this is what some folks have said. Where do you think he's going to come down? Because his last justification for his ruling was basically a mistake in the procedure that was used by the Trump administration. We know they'll correct that this time. Do you think Roberts is going to be on the right side of this decision?
Well, I don't know, because he's failed to live out what we thought he was as a constitutionalist, and but I don't know what he could make up possibly to rule that this is actually constitutional, or I don't know what excuse he could give besides the flimsy procedural one that he gave this round. That will be off the table. So I think ultimately we'll get the favorable ruling. And when I say favorable to respecting rule of law and the will of the people and Article I powers by Congress, and repeal this bad precedent by the previous administration. But we'll see. The problem is that this has been so protracted that it will carry into another administration, John. So at that point,
no offense, Congressman, it really is because Congress seems unwilling to actually come down on this one way or the other and come together and give us some sort of clarity on what the law actually should be. Again, I put a lot of the onus on you guys on Capitol Hill. You guys are the ones that have to make the laws. We can't have executive orders and Supreme Court decisions determining what we do in this country.
I agree. The law speaks for itself today, and folks that come here outside of the current immigration laws should be detained and deported unless they have some credible basis on asylum.
The longer we wait,
so you're right,
the worse the problem gets. The longer we wait for real action from Congress, the worse the problem gets. I know you're working on it, Congressman. We thank you for your time, sir. Thank you.